And we're back with a Streaming Matters episode.
What's up?
I know the Butcher will like that. We call it Streaming Matters.
Oh my god. I mean, it matters. It matters to me, and it should matter to you. What's the matter for you, eh?
What's the matter, hey?
What's the matter for you, eh?
What's the matter? So, hope everybody is doing good. It is it is March. We're in the middle of March, almost in April.
Dude, the first quarter of this year is almost over.
Mm-hmm.
You believe this shit? And we already went through another COVID variant and a war.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But, we can't forget to remind people to check the description down below to get a VPN before they wreck themselves. Is that what we're saying?
It's protect yourself before you wreck yourself.
There's lots of different use case for a VPN, and we just have another one linked in the description below. Again, do your own research, figure out, why you might want to use a VPN and test it out. See if it works good for you. We always tell people to check out the customer service when you're testing out a VPN service and see if they are there to support you when you need it.
And make sure you get that Buzz TV.
We've been getting a lot of questions hitting us up on Telegram asking when we're going to be showcasing their new products.
I know. I think we're hyping them up a little bit.
Oh, well, they are coming, but you have to understand with the times being the way they are, everything's a little delayed. But they are coming. We've seen what they've looked like on paper. That's all we can say. I don't even think we can say that. Can we say that? Can we take that out?
No. I'll say this. I know with the times right now, there's a lot of stuff that's happening, and there's a lot of uncertainty with everything, like chipsets and all that. And there was an announcement. I don't know if you heard about it. So when this whole thing happened, and we are talking about the Ronas, when this whole thing happened in Wuhan.
Wuhan. Yeah.
I got you. It was like, and you know what? It's funny because I just had this conversation yesterday. It's interesting because when China made the announcement of an outbreak back in like January, the rest of the world was kind of like, okay, we'll see what happens. I'm like, we need to stock up on groceries slowly.
All kinds of shit, bro. All kinds of shit.
Because if China is in an outbreak, they have I think they're number one in most population.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things that it's affecting agriculture right now. Like, it's not just China, but like Russia.
No. I'm talking about when this whole thing just started. You know what I mean? And with tech, like speaking about the tech, when it happened, it was just like, crap, we better buckle up. Well, the reason why I brought that up is because I don't know if you heard recently, and I know you were just starting to bring up agriculture and stuff right now, but before we get into that piece, bro, I think China stopped announcing what's been going on. They're just like, oh, we're doing better. Everything's starting to open up slowly, blah, blah, blah. And then that's it. No more case numbers, no more nothing. Like, almost like they excommunicated everybody from everybody.
Yeah.
Dude, it was like 2 days ago that I heard about this. I saw this article that China just announced that they are closing down several cities and going back into lockdown. Because of
the number is the highest ever.
I think the Omicron is now over there. Like, they've been doing pretty good keeping like everything out and everything under control, but of course it got in there. Dude, Shenzhen, which is one of China's biggest tech cities that creates like
it is like the world's biggest tech city.
Dude, it's on lockdown right now. Everybody's at home. Everybody's shut down. Everything is done. I think there's like 12 neighboring cities that are on lockdown. Nobody's working. All factories, warehouses closed. Hong Kong is also closed because it's really close to them. It's a very scary situation right now. And I know we were already short on chips. I think it's about to get worse.
Oh, hell yeah, it is. Hell yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Absolutely nuts. I mean, basically, I think with tech, for the most part, I almost want to say the last 3 years, a lot of us have spoiled ourselves, and like in a first world way. Like we have a lot of tech that we don't need, that we just want. Mm-hmm. Like here's a question that I asked I asked a friend of mine recently. I said, if you lost your job, all of your income, if you had to sell all the tech that you don't actually need, how long could you pay your bills? And I mean, I know, like for you, like, because you get a lot of tech that you were like, you know, you showcase or whatever. If you had no form of income, how long could you survive selling all the tech that you don't use in your house?
In my house?
Yeah. It would probably be a bit, no?
Yeah. Actually, I've never thought about that.
Like, that's a first world situation. It's a first world issue. You know what I mean? Like, it coming down to, oh, a lot of us have multiple TVs and only use them one at a time. If shit came to, you know, shove, do we really need, like, for instance, your 85-inch TV? Like, it's nice, but do we really need it? You know what I'm saying? Like, we could move down to, like, the 60-inch you probably have somewhere else.
Yeah.
But you could survive for a little bit if you had to sell all the different things that you were no longer needing. It was just a situation that I was thinking about, right? Like, shit's starting to get more and more difficult to get a hold of, but we've been acquiring things for the last 3 years. Like, I have 3 phones here that are all fantastic. And if any one of them broke, I would still be happy using another one. Like, it's still a good experience, still a great experience. So I just, you know, that's just some food for thought. You know, I think if everyone kind of thinks about that, why don't you put in the comments down below, if that was the scenario, would it be months? Would it be days? Would you be really lucky and be able to survive for a year if you could sell everything that you don't need in your house to pay your bills?
Yeah, I would say a year probably.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
With what I got. You know, actually, maybe a little bit longer now that I think about it. Because I'm thinking like you said, like the TV and stuff that's downstairs, my garage. I'm thinking stuff that's in the garage, like that crazy treadmill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to think about it too, right? Like, if all of your forms of income were shut down, then you would have more time. So, like, let's say you had a treadmill, you could sell it because you'd have time to go for a run.
Yeah.
If you think about it like that, right? You know, I asked you, because I came up with a couple articles for today's episode, and I asked you if you wanted me to start this on a good note, or kind of like you want negative news or positive news to start. And
did you say positive nudes?
I think so. That was just a stutter, but we're just gonna go with it.
What's wrong with it?
And I didn't really know how to order this, and I think this is positive news, so we're just gonna roll with it. Let me share my screen real quick. And have you ever heard of TWRP? Oh, that's the wrong button. Twerp. Twerp, not twerk.
Where's this episode going? Twerp?
Yeah, twerp.
TWERP.
TWRP, but it's pronounced twerp.
No. Oh,
so,
yes. Now that I look at it.
Remember back in the day with old school Android boxes, people would install TWRP.
Yeah.
So that we could do custom ROMs and like different things. We would root the devices. Well, recently, somebody was able to set up a custom twerp recovery ROM on the Fire Sticks. And for the longest time, we've done episodes where we've talked about how it's like impossible to root a Fire Stick these days because they embed it in the chip and then they fry it so it's not backwards compatible and all kinds of shit. Like, Amazon is really hard set on their operating systems on their devices because, let's be real, they make money off of the advertisements on their devices, right? So this is really cool that somebody was able to actually root the Fire Stick and set up a custom Lineage OS Android 11 ROM. Now, I do want to preference and say that this has already been patched. However, if you do have a Fire Stick that doesn't have the latest update, 7.2.73 or older, can still run this if you feel like you want to fool around with the device. And, you know, you always have to be mindful that you could possibly brick a device if you start messing with it. Now, I do also want to preface and say that doing so will void your warranty and your terms of service with your Fire Stick, because, you know, when you buy a device like this, you agree to the terms and service and how you use it. And Amazon is very specific in their operating system with their terms of service. They are very specific. And that's why they've been pushing updates lately to remove the ability to change the custom launcher, because that damages their revenue, right? But I still think that it's pretty cool that somebody was able to figure this out and do it. Did you ever mess around with twerp?
Twerp? No, actually, I've never I've heard of people mess with it. I know me way back in my day when I first started YouTube back in the day, my first video. I was always curious and was messing with stuff on it, and I've heard people do it, and I've seen it. Like I've been able to get my hands on one and all done, but I never really like dug into that.
Yeah.
That part.
Back in the day, like some people used to just, when they were doing a lot of devices and they were setting them up, they could do it within seconds just by loading the twerp files. Mm-hmm. And instead of you going through and setting up the devices and doing everything yourself, you would just create an image. And you could just re-image your devices within seconds and just keep going. Now, some of the other reasons that people wanted to install the Lineage OS Android 11 ROM through the twerp was getting access to the Google Play Store instead of the Amazon App Store, right? Like there's more apps in the Google Play Store, and there's different apps that people use. So like for as long as we've been in the streaming community, the amount of times we've been asked, can you get the Play Store on the Fire Stick? No. I mean, the answer is yes, it is difficult, and it is more headache than anything else. Mm-hmm. So we're just going to say no and cut that one short. I did pull up twerp's website. It says, what does it stand for? It stands for Team Win Recovery Project, and it is a custom touch recovery, and it's got a GUI base. So it allows you to back up partitions and raw image format, restore backups from internal storage, external SD or OTG devices, custom firmware installations, partition wiping, file deletion, terminal access, ADB root shell, theme support, and possible decryption support depending on the device. So that's just a really general introduction on what twerping is. I had to. So apparently there's some updates and some new shows that are coming out on Disney Plus. And I know that we are strong believers in what Disney is doing, and I think that they have some really great content, and you know, there's some good stuff. So have you heard about setting your content rating in Disney Plus?
You know what? It's very funny that you say that, because last night was watching so I just finished watching For All Mankind. It's an Apple original show.
Yeah.
Amazing. Freaking Apple is just doing so good. And now I'm working on Narcos Mexico season 3. I'm finally catching up and finishing that show.
Right.
And while I was watching that show, I got a notification that said my account, it has been set to TVMA, and you know, for Disney Plus. And I created an account for my sister, I created an account for my mom, and I get all the little notifications that says, you know, like Owen, like my sister's last name, Owen, and then Davy, and then Rojas. You could set content rating TV MA or whatever. And I'm just like, what? And I'm just like, okay, it's already on, so I'm just gonna leave it alone. You know.
So what does that mean? What does it mean? So it says that starting as of March 16th, when you first sign into your Disney Plus subscription, you're going to be asked to select the content rating for all the users in your family. So you're going to have different profiles, and you can select what rating of content that they'll have access to. When you open the app, you'll be asked if you want to change your content rating from TV 14. Obviously, that's like PG 14, which is somewhat restricted. And then TVMA means no restrictions. You're mature. You can watch all the content on their platform. So
they're bringing that's because they're bringing, like, yeah, there you go. You just highlighted it, the Daredevil, and I know they're adding some of the Logan stuff. It's because they're adding rated R stuff now, right?
Well, I mean, I think rated R is a little bit of a stretch. I think darker shows that can depict more of the dark side of humanity. When I think rated R, I think like 18 plus stuff, like some of that late night showcase stuff. Like,
jeez,
I think about that twerping, So basically, yeah, you just log in. If you are on a computer, these are the screens that you're going to see. You're going to hit continue when you get to the access parental controls in your whatever, and then it's going to walk you through it, saying TVMA is access to the full catalog. You'll be asked to confirm your selection with your password, and then once you're done that, you'll be given an option to create a profile pin, and that's for other members in your household or mischievous teenagers. If they're trying to get through your MA access, they can't edit that. So yeah, that's basically what it is. So if a lot of you guys are logging in and it's like, do you want MA or do you want 14? Now you know what it is. So set it accordingly to the content you want the people in your house watching.
So you have to set this up. It's not ready to go, right? You have to go in and set it up.
Well, I think when you're prompted, when you first sign in after the 16th of March, it's going to ask you what you want to do.
I'm going to check my app right now to see Disney Plus. Oh, Disneyland. So I'm opening up the app, and the first thing it says, you have access to the full content catalog. Your content rating is now set to TVMA. Do you want to set a profile?
And this is the reason why people should be setting profiles.
What if I don't want to set a pin?
Well, do you have anybody that shouldn't have the full access to your Disney Plus?
No. Then
it doesn't matter. You don't, like, I honestly don't think it should matter.
For some reason, it said I had to go set up. It said I had to set a pin, which is weird.
Yeah, you need a pin. It always wants a pin, so it can access your debit card.
I put remind later.
There you go. I guess you can bypass it for now. Yeah, so that's that one about Disney Plus. If you've been seeing that, then you know what it is. When the pandemic first started, and we started talking a little bit about, way back in the day when we first started the podcast. But one of the big things in the pandemic. Oh, speaking of this, by the way, did you ever receive the cards that I mailed you?
Yeah, I told you.
Did you?
Right?
I don't know. Well, anyways. So I mailed you these stonk cards, right?
Yeah.
And the joke about it was Reddit was pumping certain stocks like GameStop and AMC. And there's still people to this day, even content creators with over 200,000 subscribers that both you and I know, that are still talking about AMC to this day, saying I'm still holding AMC, and it's lower now than when it was when the pandemic first started, when that pump really started. Like, whoever grabbed it when it was worth like $70 is in the hole a lot of money, right? I always tell people, when you see profit, you take that profit. You don't just sit there, right? Now I'm scared because AMC, basically anybody who's holding AMC is sitting on a gold mine. Or that's what they're going to think.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to think, because AMC has recently bought a gold mine. Literally. So they announced that it's acquiring 22% stake in a mining company, not crypto. Don't get it twisted. If it was crypto, I'd be like, all right, that kind of makes sense. Like, whatever. But they bought a gold mining company.
What the
Look, the article literally says right here, not a crypto mining company. I didn't even read that far. So it mines silver and gold. Now, the reason I'm scared is that the people that are fixated on this meme stuff are going to think that this is going to rocket ship AMC to the moon. And a lot of times, the people who don't understand investing get left holding the bag. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, there might be a chance that the squeeze is going to happen, but let's be realistic. It's been 2 years. It's been 2 years, bro, that people have been saying that AMC is going to go to $100,000 a stock or some shit. I don't know. And where is it? Single digits, I think. Like, jeez. Just be happy with whatever profits you get, and don't be, blindly following a bunch of shit. It hurts when I see stuff like this. Like, the amount of times that I've had people message me over the last 2 years saying, should I buy GameStop or AMC now? And I'm like, no. Like, if you don't understand how to be happy with the profits that you get, then you can't be upset with the money that you lose. Like, you got to know your entries and your exits with everything. It's just, when I saw this, I just thought that it would be a shout out for just to be cautious. Like, people are going to be talking about this, and you just don't get sucked into the hype. This is a part of the theater chain's roller coaster recovery during the pandemic. AMC has literally tried everything, bro. Everything. The CEO has pandered heavily in meme stock investors, indulging them with meme-fueled strategies like accepting Dogecoin and offering NFTs. So, like, hype words, he's like, hey, yeah, let's just keep going. I mean, it was kind of smart on his part because he made a boatload of money from it. AMC has also tried to break the food sale and delivery business with its Perfectly Popcorn venture. Didn't even hear about wait, I think we did this in an article.
Yeah, we talked about that once.
We did. And it apparently was a multi-billion-dollar popcorn industry. I don't know, whatever. Let's just be careful with what you're doing. Dude, remember, this chain, AMC, was on the verge of bankruptcy, and then it got injected with $100 million in December 2020. Just be careful. Just be careful. And you know what? Because it kind of took a little bit of a negative turn, I'm going to throw the order of my articles around here. I'm going to do this one, because this one is the juiciest article, and I feel like I just want to roll into it.
Yeah, do it.
Netflix is testing ways to end password sharing and push viewers to pay extra. Digest.
Okay, hold on. Let me think about this one. Netflix is testing ways to end password sharing and push viewers to pay extra. So I know they're trying to stop
account sharing?
They're trying to stop account sharing.
What? Not anymore. They want you to share your account, but they want you to pay extra for it.
Which would make sense if they're like, hey, for a little bit more, this is how much it's going to cost. Because then let's just say it's $20 and
it would make sense if they were $15.
Okay, so right now it's $20 for Netflix for their premium. If I don't know what the price is yet, so don't say nothing yet. But if you and me wanted to share a Netflix account, let's just say I have it. If they said, hey, you could add an extra user for like $5, so now I'm paying $25. I could be like, hey, you want to split this? Now I'm not paying $20 anymore. I'm paying what, $12.50?
Okay, that might be a good scenario in 2 years from now. In the reason I'm saying that is, how many years has the average person been sharing their Netflix account?
Forever. Since the
For
beginning
for
of
20
time.
years. For 20 years. And then they're going to say, oh, I get it. It's cost displacement. They're going to position it like exactly what you just said, quote unquote, you're going to save money. But for the person that's been sharing their account for 20 years, you won't see it like that until you can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Right? You kind of got to get that bitter taste out of your mouth and kind of start to forget that your previous ways was so good. For you to accept to pay even $5 more to be allowed to do what you used to do anyways.
Yeah.
But people are going to be bitter if this actually happens and they stop you from doing it unless you pay. Where are their subscribers going to go?
Everywhere else.
Right? And we talk about this all the time. There is bangers on Apple TV. There are bangers that are coming out on Prime now. Like, we used to complain about Prime all the time. Prime's coming out with bangers, bro. Like, literally this month going into the end of next month, I am binge watching Prime shows after Prime shows after Prime shows. There's some really good ones. I'm actually going to talk about that in another article after, but I'm just saying Disney Plus is coming out with some really good shows. Like, there are some really, really good content now that we're slowly starting to recover media wise from what we've gone through in the last 2 years, right? There's still a couple shows that we're waiting for announcements as the release dates. They may even be pushed into next year, but I'm just saying, we always talk about if you can't afford all of them because they're getting this expensive, that you can jump from platform to platform, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of people would just they would get Netflix and they would forget about it and just let it keep coming out of their account. I think that's going to be less and less likely. Like, people are going to probably get things like Netflix gift cards, and when they run out, they run out. Like, I don't want to be gouged for a whole year of a service that I'm not using as much as I used to.
You know what? I thought about that too. I was like, do I use Disney Plus? Because, well, for one, I get it for free.
Yeah.
But I was like, do I use Disney Plus on a monthly basis? Do I use ESPN Plus? I have that whole bundle, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, do I use all of that on a daily? And I'm just like, or, monthly. Disney Plus, I absolutely do. I absolutely do. And I'm trying to think. Hulu, maybe not monthly, but every other month for sure. And ESPN, I kind of just go in there just because I just stumble in. I'm like, I wonder what's playing. Yeah, I'm like, I wonder what's playing. Yeah. So I check it out maybe like once a month, once every other month. But Amazon Prime, I would say I'm almost never in there.
Right. But I think that a lot of people probably say the same thing, but they are. Well, I'll talk about Amazon Prime in a minute. Like, I actually really like the stuff they're coming out with, but I'm going to say that for an article coming up soon. So it says, during a test period, Netflix will try its approach in 3 countries: Chile, Costa Rica, and Peru. In addition, the ability to transfer viewing profiles into new accounts, either your own primary account or somebody else's. Subscribers will get prompts to add an extra viewer to their package at a discounted price, which is approximately $3 USD. $3 USD is not bad, but I want to preface this by saying we are going into a time with super high inflations, and our dollar is not going as far as it used to. So, like I said before, it's going to take some time for people to get the bitter taste out of their mouth that Netflix is stopping them from doing something they've been doing for 20 years without paying extra to do it. So,
but see, how are they going to do that? Like, are they going to? Because, okay, let's be real with this. If you have a household with several kids, most people, I want to say no, most people on average have 2 kids on average. Some people have 1, some people have 3 or 4, but let's just say on average 2 kids per household. Most of the time, these kids probably have a TV. I knew when I grew up, I didn't have a TV until I got older. Then I got a TV. But let's just say everybody's got a TV in their room. That's a common thing, right?
It's getting more common now, yeah.
Yeah. So you have a TV in your room. That's one. You got a TV downstairs in the living room. That's two. There's usually a third TV floating around somewhere, either in the backyard, the garage, a second living room, maybe the kitchen. There's usually like a third TV somewhere. You know what I mean? And then you have, let's just say, a fourth TV for a kid's room. Let's just say 4 TVs total in the house. How are they going to limit amount of sign-ins for this thing? You know what I mean? Are they saying you could only sign into the account 3 times or 4 times? Are they checking IP addresses, like to say, hey, you could only sign into this one? And then what about people with their cell phones? Because for me, I have my stuff added to my cell phone.
So the way that I think that they would do it is the amount of different IP addresses that are using the service at the same time, right? So it's probably going to be like, you can use, I don't know, unlimited connections in your household. But if somebody tries to log in from another IP address, they're like, you're clearly a different user.
Are they?
Well,
what if you're at the airport and you're on your cell phone or your tablet?
But then you wouldn't be logged in at your home at the same time.
What if you have the wife and kids at the house?
Well, they need to buy a connection. I don't know. I'm just speculating.
You know what I'm saying? It's this, the only way this could work, the only way this could work is if they lower their damn prices and you have to pay per connection. If they say, hey, it's $15 starting, instead of 20, we're dropping it down to 15 for one connection, which is stupid. Because if you're at the house, if you're at a household, and maybe it's by IP address. Maybe it says,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's $15 per IP address. So if you're at home and you sign up to your device and you're like, cool, this is for all my home. Cool. There's your one IP address for your household. Now let's just say, like, somebody like me, I'm just like, well, I'm on my cell phone. I'm never home. I'm always on a business trip or whatever. And because I know that once you're on your cell phone and you connect to different Wi-Fi's, the IP address can change.
Of course.
But I know there's a way that the IP address can track to say, hey, this cell phone, it's associated to the same cell phone. You know what I mean?
Well, you would each device has its own MAC address.
Exactly. So it could recognize that. So they could say, like, hey, well, you know what? I want this on my cell phone because we go out and when we go to dinner, my kid screams, and to shut them up, I got to put Netflix in front of their face while we're having dinner, which, you know what? I see that happen a lot too. We you know, you go out to dinner and you see a family there and you see the kids staring at the phone watching something to keep them busy. You know what I mean? So I would say that could only work. And you know what? It would have to, honestly, they would have to drop their prices anyway. $15 starting, $250, let's just say, to make it $17.50 to have 2 different IP addresses, $20 to have 3 different IP addresses. And then, you know, again, like I said, if we're sharing and I'm paying an extra IP address to be shared with you, then we could split the cost, which I think they will lose money doing that anyway. There's too.
Do you really think Netflix is going to lower its price?
I don't think Netflix will lower their price, but I think they're also going to lose a lot of people if they're going to start charging.
Yes.
How are they going to do that? I don't know.
Oh, they're going to have to figure out something. I'll tell you what. There was an article over on Yahoo Finance that just had a couple things of suggestions for Netflix that they need to do. And if they don't, that they think they're going to bite the dust. So it says that Netflix needs to add advertisements to survive the streaming war. And I think that's a relation to this point down here where they say Netflix will bite the dust unless it adds live sports and news to its content lineup and adds an ad light subscription to their video on demand tier. So we see a lot of streaming services do this where there's a cheaper plan, but it's subsidized by advertisements. So they're saying along the same lines, but they'll also need to add something about sports and news.
I don't
It
know
says that Disney has won the battle in regards to a bundle when it comes to the financial prowess and pricing strategy. So basically, Disney has a stronghold when it comes to price and content and value, for sure. We've been talking about this for a long time.
Yeah. And the thing is that there's a lot of companies, Amazon Ample purchase indicates the live sports as the next competitive battlefield. Yeah, we've also heard what is it, HBO Max and what is it, Discovery or whatever the other one is, CNN, like what, they're like we're seeing these bundles happen already. And the thing is that most of these companies already, they kind of own a lot of this stuff, so they're just kind of like, why don't we just merge them? Like, we put them together. It's not rocket science. WWE, look at them. They're just like, hey, we're going to Peacock, even though they have
we are Peacock.
Yeah, they're Peacock now. And even though they didn't need Peacock, WWE had a big library on their own. So for them to be like, hey, we're gonna merge with Peacock, and now they have a whole section of that, it just makes it enticing, you know. So I do agree that I think we talked about this too, that Netflix has to do something to appeal to that bundle, because at the end of the day, Netflix doesn't own shit. They're barely starting to open the doors with originals, and even then they're buying stuff like Cobra Kai. That was YouTube until Netflix bought them out, you know. But as far as like originality, I would say Netflix is the worst. Like, you have some amazing shows on Hulu, and they were Netflix direct competitor. You know, they had some amazing original shows. Places like Disney Plus with their originals, Apple, like, you know, they're doing all of their original stuff, Peacock, NBC, like all these other, HBO Max, all these places that they're doing their own stuff, they are surpassing Netflix. I think they've surpassed them a long time ago. I think the only thing that Netflix is king is they've been around longer, so everybody just knows, like, hey, I'm gonna Netflix and chill. You know what I mean? So
that joke is so old, and that's probably one of the reasons that Netflix is still around.
Exactly, the only reason why they're still around. But yeah, I don't know. To me, it's frustrating that Netflix isn't doing anything, and they're still saying like, well, screw everybody, we're gonna charge whatever the hell we want, because that just kind of undermines everybody's freaking intelligence. Like, everybody sees what Disney's doing. Everybody sees what Apple is doing. It's not a secret. It's out there in the open. You could see how good it is and how well they're doing. And even if you're not a Disney fan, even if you're not a Disney fan, Star Wars fan, Marvel fan, if you're not any of those, like, they own Fox. So you could find stuff that's not even Disney related within Fox Studios that's in the Disney app. That's what I'm saying. It's like Disney has so much stuff. Apple has opened up the doors for so many things too.
Did you watch the movie Don't Look Up?
Yes.
What did you think about it?
Awesome.
I didn't like it. No? I thought it was way too slow for me.
It was slow, but I kind of liked how they did it, because, put it this way, look at it like this. In real life, when you look at like what's happening, or like what happened during Trump's presidency, where they're just like, hey, we found out that people are going to storm the White House, or they're going to storm the Capitol. You actually saw that process. Like, no, it's not. Don't worry about it. Don't say nothing. We're not having a press conference. You actually saw the rawness of what actually happens within the brains of these politicians. And you actually got to the point where even when they knew they were wrong, they were still trying to like, nope, we're good, even though the house is burning on fire. What is that meme? That you have that little guy sitting inside the house and the whole house is on fire and it says everything's fine.
Oh yeah, the dog. Yeah.
It's kind of like that. It's, for me, I liked it because and I like fast pace, get to the point, get to the plot, get to the whatever it is. But I liked how they did it because they let me digest every single scene, and they made me love people and they made me hate people during that episode or during the movie. I was just like, I thought it was pretty good how they did it, and the way they ended it, where they're like, oh, well, when they killed that chick at the end.
So the reason I brought that up is because that movie is a Netflix original, and some people are saying it was just there so that Netflix can say, "Oh, we have Leonardo DiCaprio under our roster."
I can see that. Yeah, I agree. I can see that. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think if I were to have to nitpick, they did it in a very um they did it in a very lazy way. Like, there wasn't much effort put into how the story was going to go from beginning to end. And I think they could have definitely done a little bit more, like, but I agree. I do have to agree with that, though.
Speaking about some really top end people having them in their roster, Ryan Reynolds, one of the probably
Dude,
biggest Canadians in the movie industry, has his own production company. Came out with a movie called The Atom Project. I haven't watched this yet, but I really do want to check it out.
I
Have you
keep
heard of it?
yeah, I was just talking to somebody about the Adam Project. They're just like, "Hey, you need to watch this one." And I'm like, "What is it about?" I thought it was a TV show at first.
So, The Atom Project by Ryan Reynolds lands as number 3 among the top Netflix movie launches. Pretty dope. I wonder what like 1 and 2 is. What would you think 1 and 2 is if you had to guess for the top Netflix movie launches are? I wonder if they'll say it in the article, but take a guess if you can.
Top 3 movie launches
For Netflix, yeah. Well, the third one is Atom Project now with Ryan Reynolds. So what 2 can you think of that would have been really popular?
that are Netflix. Didn't they have that one with The Rock and
Yeah,
Kevin
that
Hart?
was also Ryan Reynolds, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Red, red,
Read something. Yeah,
red something. Yes,
that was Netflix. I
yes.
would I would think that would be number one because I heard so much about it. Uh, I don't know. I don't know what would be number two.
Okay, let's see if it says in the article. So it
Don't
says
look up.
Ryan Reynolds' original Netflix movie, The Atom Project, about a time traveling fighter pilot, flew to big viewership numbers in its debut over the weekend of March 11th to the 13th. According to Netflix, it scored 92.4 million hours viewed. That's a lot, bro.
Yeah.
Like, they have, okay, like, let's just estimate this out 240 million subscribers.
Yeah.
So, what? The average movie now is 2 hours long.
Roughly, yeah.
So if we divide 92 million by 2, we get something like 46 million.
Mm-hmm.
So 46 million people out of their 240 million watch this in the weekend,
Wow.
right? Like
That's pretty
maybe my
good.
math is wrong, but that's a good estimation, I would say.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. The only movies to boast a bigger debut. Here we go. Yep, Red Notice. You're right. There you go.
Yep.
That one got 149 million. That's another Ryan Reynolds movie, bro. Ryan Reynolds and The Rock. It starred Ryan Reynolds and Dwayne Johnson and Gal Gadot. But I mean, you put Ryan Reynolds, Dwayne Johnson, and Gal Gadot in anything, and it's going to be a banger. Like,
Mm-hmm.
even if the movie's shit, people are going to watch it. We have to
And don't
remember
look
that.
up.
Yeah, Don't Look Up. There you go. The other movie that we were just talking about,
Mm-hmm.
and that one got 111 million. So look, Don't Look Up is just barely bigger than this one, but Red Notice came out a few months ago, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Reynolds movie. Like, if I was Netflix, I would be looking to sign some like deal with Ryan Reynolds. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
like I would be like, yo, I'll give you like how they did with Chappelle. He's
Oh yeah,
getting
yeah.
views and he's keeping people on the platform. So like that would be smart of them to do.
And see, Netflix has the thing is that Netflix is, oh man, Netflix doesn't own this stuff. So they're putting up their exclusive, which means they have to dish in a lot of money. They got to pay these people a lot of money. You know, with that advertisement thing that they were talking about in that other article, if they just put like a quick 15-second, hey, blah, 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 or 10-second, hey, check the new Samsung S22 Ultra, whatever, whatever commercial it was. And if they have, dude, think about this. If they make $1 for every view that sees that 15-second ad, that's a grip ton of money. So I could see them, it's smart to add an ad thing for a cheaper way of watching it.
What? I think
Absolutely.
Halo is getting, yeah. I just seen this on the side article, but I wanted to click on it. It says there was an quote unquote alien drone swarm that formed a giant hovering QR code over Austin to promote the new sci-fi series Halo. That's pretty cool, man. Like it's a giant QR code in the sky to promote the new TV show of Halo, and Halo is an Xbox exclusive game that's been Xbox exclusive for the beginning of time. Like you thought Xbox, you thought Halo.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the people in the beginning, when they had things like the Xbox 360 and stuff like that, they had Halo too. It was just a game that you got. Like you got an Xbox in the beginning, you bought Halo too. But this thing was 600 feet wide. Like, jeez. Perspective? That's huge.
I'll be freaking out. Like, what the fuck?
That's crazy. I'm just curious. I know that you like to go to the theaters, but have you seen the Batman? Are you excited to see
Nope.
a vampire as your Batman?
Nope. I'm not. I don't give a shit about Batman.
I'm Batman.
I've never been a Batman fan. I think it's funny. My best friend from across the states, he's a big Batman guy, and I'm like, dude, Batman's a whiny little bitch. That's what Batman is. Like he's like this emo bitches about everything. And what does he do? Beats the crap out of people to get his anger out. He's not optimistic about anything. He doesn't see the good side of things. And it's not even being a realistic. It's just like, what's he doing? I'm gonna go kick his ass. That's what he is. And it's for me. I've never been fascinated about Batman, and with this one, I keep hearing a lot of stuff. Like all the different people that they're in, I keep hearing that they're going more like comic book. Like this is the actual how Batman would be. I hear the guy from Twilight is the Batman.
Yep.
I'm kind of like
Patterson.
I'll wait until it's on digital streaming platform somewhere.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. And my first thing was, isn't he too tall to be Batman? Like, I don't know. And then I saw a couple clips and I was like, I don't know if I want to watch it. I'm not a huge Batman fan either. But anyways, so this got 134 million in domestic box office debut, which is just behind Spider-Man No Way Home. And I think that has something, that says something, because Spider-Man No Way Home is a banger. A banger. So for Batman to come second, there's only two reasons that it could come second.
Well,
there's only two reasons.
How long ago did Spider-Man come out?
I don't know, a year ago? 8 months ago?
No. Spider-Man No Way Home came out in December?
6 months ago? I don't know.
So 3 months ago.
So,
you're like 10 years ago?
Whatever. Anyways, my two reasons is, one, it might actually be an okay movie. Might. The second reason is there hasn't been another Marvel movie after Spider-Man yet. Shots fired.
But there's been some TV shows.
There's been some TV shows for sure, for sure. So we're just going to keep rolling, talking about some content here. Netflix gives a sneak peek of its upcoming Resident Evil series. Are you a fan of Resident Evil?
Oh, the original game, maybe the second game, yes. After that, they just kind of, it's not bad, but yeah, I'm a fan of Resident Evil though.
So is this? I'm terrible. So is this the same game that you would go to an arcade and you would get the guns that you could shoot, and it would like walk you through these levels and you shoot like these things, the zombies or whatever? No, this is different.
I think they did come up with something like that, but no, this is more like you go into the house, you're trying to find somebody, and then next thing you know, like there's this city that they have there that they're trying to build pharmaceuticals, and that pretty much exploded and turned everybody into monsters, like crazy. Actually, the last Resident Evil movie kind of explains it. It's actually pretty good. The last one, it's not that bad. It kind of explains how the whole thing happened.
So this is a TV show. Would you be interested in watching this TV show?
I'd be interested. Yeah.
It says including a badass heroine, so it's strong females. And I know that there's a big movement for a lot of people wanting to see strong females in TV shows and movies. Like if we look at Black Widow, and there's a lot of movies that are coming out right now that are showcasing really strong female roles. Marvel, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, like there's so many coming out right now. She-Hulk, like you could just go on and on. A battle for survival, creatures both new and familiar, and a mystery to be solved. Got to be super sleuthin'. A pill marked Joy is set against the yellow backdrop, so that's Joy. And some bubbles of blood in a third image. So far, they're not showcasing any zombies. So here's a brief, summary of it. The year is 2036. 14 years after a deadly virus caused a global apocalypse, Jade Wesker fights for survival in a world overrun by bloodthirsty, infected, and insane creatures. In this absolute carnage, Jane is haunted by her past in New Raccoon City, by her father's chilling connections to the Umbrella Corporation, but mostly by what happened to her sister, Billy. Jane is not my friend. Yeah, Billy so Jean. I mean, I think Resident Evil has a big following. I don't know too much about it. Again, I'm not a huge gamer, so I know that this franchise does have a big following. I think that it might be interesting for a lot of people that like zombie stuff or like gaming related stuff or just strong action movies. Let's say, let's go with that. Let's keep going. What do we got here?
Yeah, should be good. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be good.
It's been a minute since we've seen Mr. Myers.
Yes.
What was the last thing that you seen Mike Myers in?
Was it Halloween?
And he's under the Netflix belt.
So what, they bought them?
Here he is here.
What the hell? Oh, Mike Myers.
Mike Myers.
I was thinking Michael Myers, the freaking the horror guy. Mike Myers. No. Holy crap, Myers. He looks old. He looks terrible.
Mike Myers is making a return to comedy in a new 6-episode Netflix show called The Pentaverate? Pentaverate? After years of rare movie appearances, it'll be a type of project where Mike Myers makes up almost half the cast. He's playing 8 different characters. This is like a Nutty Professor kind of thing. Hercules.
Oh, he did this too with Austin Powers.
Yeah. The show, in which starts streaming by May 5th, so that's coming up soon, people, also stars comedian like Ken Jeong, Keegan Michael Key.
Really?
Jennifer Saunders. It centers on a shadowy, possible world-controlling secret society called the Pentaverate. This sounds like kind of like an Austin Powers thing, no?
Kinda, yeah.
According to the voiceover in the trailer, you can watch below. It was started by 5 people who were labeled as heretics after discovering that the Black Plague was caused by fleas and rats. The concept of the show comes from a joke in another movie starring Myers. So I married an axe murderer. So apparently the concept comes from a joke in that movie. So I know it's going to be interesting. You know, Mike Myers comes from a different time, a different breed of actors, right? That is slowly like, it's going to be sad when this breed goes away. And I think, you know, the most iconic one from that breed of actors is Robin Williams, right? After Robin Williams, you have Jim Carrey. And then after Jim Carrey, you have Mike Myers. There's not a lot of other actors that you can kind of put in that same category anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, who else could you put in the same category as Robin Williams, Jim Carrey, Mike Myers, maybe Eddie Murphy?
Eddie Murphy.
I'd put Eddie Murphy in that same category. But there's not a lot of other actors that can really be put in that category. And we're running out of them.
They're different. Like, it's different type of comedy. Like Kevin Hart. I think Kevin Hart's freaking insanely funny.
But you see, Kevin Hart is creative. He's funny. But Kevin Hart plays Kevin Hart. Like with Mike Myers, he can play several characters so well at the same damn time. You see what I'm saying? Same thing with Jim Carrey. Same thing with Eddie Murphy. Same thing with Robin Williams. Like, Kevin Hart is extremely talented, and I give you that one. Kevin Hart is good, but Kevin Hart is very in his box.
Yeah.
You never know which jack of the box you're going to get with some of these other guys that I just mentioned.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think I'm probably just going to watch this just so that I can see history, because I don't know how much more I'm going to get out of Mike Myers and other actors and actresses like him.
Yeah.
I know that sounds kind of dark and sad, but I'm getting old, man. I'm getting old. I'm getting a lot more craze. I know I'm talking a lot about TV shows, but in the beginning, I really wanted to talk about Prime because I'm super excited. I'm really excited. And I'm in the process of binge watching and finishing The Upload right now. Have you? I just rewatched all of season 1, just started season 2. Have you watched The Upload?
I heard about it. I think it might be on my list, maybe.
Yeah. So The Upload is an Amazon Prime original. It's onto its 2nd season, and it's all about the concept of, I mean, it's so much more relatable now than it was when I watched the first season last year, because it's almost like if you took the Oculus Quest and you perfected it, like to a T. Now, when people die, they have the option to be uploaded into a VR reality, and the people that are still alive can communicate with them through VR. Right? Really interesting concept. Yeah. Really cool show. It's kind of like a rom-com. So if some people look for shows to watch with their significant other, I actually recommend The Upload. I mean, you can watch it by yourself too, but it's actually a pretty good show, and it just started its 2nd season. I actually sometimes when Preppy's working, she likes to just put on, she calls them garbage TV shows, where it's like background fillers. So I was like, I'm gonna choose the show today, and I put on the 1st season of Upload. I've already seen it, so I put it on, and she started watching it, and she binge watched season 1 and season 2 in like 3 days. Jeez. And she actually paid attention, and I was like, dude, you didn't even wait for me. Like, I didn't even finish it. So that's just the recommendation from there. But this is an Amazon Prime original, and I think Prime is getting overlooked when they're starting to come out with some more bangers. So here's 10 Amazon Prime shows to look forward to in 2022. So February 4th, Reacher. So I haven't watched The Reacher or whatever you want to call him. It's a crime thriller. one of the most enduring popular genres, released on criminal conspiracy after his falsely accused of a crime, brings the powerful energy to the character, and so far the series has shown itself very faithful. I don't know what season this is. It doesn't tell me. I wish it did. But I know that this isn't the first season and that a lot of people like this show. So that's one to look forward to. If you haven't watched it, came out February 4th. The Marvelous Miss Maisel is on to season 4. I don't know much about that one, so I'm just letting you know if you've watched the other 3 seasons. It's now out on Amazon Prime as of February 18th. Upload season 2 just came out on March 11th, and as you just heard me talk about it, I enjoyed it. I thought it was great, and I'm just going to say that I do believe there's going to be more seasons after season 2. So here is the banger for Prime. Boys season 3.
Hell yeah.
Oh my God, have you seen the trailer?
I haven't.
I don't know if I want to tell you to see the trailer, but the trailer blew my freaking mind. That's all I can say. The trailer.
I kind of want to see it. I kind of want to see the trailer, but
bro, have you seen seasons 1 and 2?
Yeah.
You seen seasons 1 and 2?
Yeah.
Oh my God, season 3 is on a whole nother level.
Dang.
So I can't wait to see this. I honestly can't wait to see this. Super excited. If anybody out there hasn't seen The Boys, you need to comment down below and tell me why the F not. You got 2 seasons to binge watch before June 3rd, and this comes out, and every single one of you needs to watch this damn show, damn it.
Damn it.
Lord of the Rings. I wish that Lord of the Rings originally came out as a series and not a movie, because I just felt like it was too long. I couldn't get into it because the damn movies were like an Indian movie. It just never ended.
It went forever.
It did, and so many people liked it, and I couldn't get myself to do it because I wasn't gonna sit. And now let's be real. The Lord of the Rings movies came out before binge watching was popular. Okay, I just want to preface that. But I couldn't fathom myself to sit down for 4 hours in one seat just to watch a movie. At least when I'm binge watching a TV show, I get a break every hour to go use the washroom or do something. I mean, I could pause the movie too, but I kind of like it that, your story kind of wraps up a little bit and then you have a moment to do whatever you need to do and then you can start it back up. But I kind of wish that it was a TV show, and I'm hoping that maybe I enjoy this more. I might give it a chance, but I'm not a huge Lord of the Rings fan because I couldn't get into the movies. Were you a Lord of the Rings fan, or did you?
Yeah, I saw the extended cuts. The ones that's like 6-hour movies each.
My goodness.
Yeah.
So you're going to be watching this one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. The Wheel of Time season 2. It's still not announced yet. I heard of season 1 and I thought I wanted to watch it, but then I forgot about it. So I don't know. So this one,
I think I have it on my list, but I just haven't seen it yet.
I don't know if I want to watch this one. I can't remember, but season 2 is coming out. So if you've seen season 1, then check it out. There's also one called The Lake, which is to be announced. This is said to be coming out this year, but there's not much information on it. So I don't know. It's about
Yeah, we're reading it.
It doesn't really say much about it. It just says that it's a Canadian produced TV show and it's possibly fantasy, drama, thriller, and fantasy. So I don't even have a picture to show you. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, also to be announced, is one of Brad Pitt's best movie, and there's no denying that there is a phenomenal chemistry between him and Angelina Jolie, given that it's something of a golden age of reboots. So there's a reboot coming out, and it looks like it's starring Donald Glover. Now, Donald Glover wants to say that he's the best of all time. How do you feel about Donald Glover?
They're doing a reboot of Mr. and Mrs. Smith?
Yeah.
Why? Donald, he's okay. I like him, but I don't know if I want to. Like, the movie's not old.
And I don't know if I guess I can't say it until I see it, but it's hard for me to visualize him as Mr. Smith.
Yeah, it's. I don't know, man. I honestly, it's kind of like.
You know who would be banging as a TV show of Mr. and Mrs. Smith? Gal Gadot and Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I think they would be pretty good. Who would you pick? If you could pick anybody.
So they would have to be young for sure.
Okay, so they're a little too old for you. Is that what you're saying?
A little, like, The Rock is a little bit too old.
Okay.
And he's a little bit too big.
Big. Okay.
Yeah. He's a little bit too big. If I would have to go with, you know what, they could probably use, and I know it's funny, I just said The Rock is too old. For whatever reason, I'm thinking of like Chris Evans. Gal Gadot maybe, but they could pick. There's better out there. Like, it would be funny if they had Chris Evans and freaking Scarlett Johansson as Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but that could work. They have to pick. They have to pick, like, okay. So with Mr. and Mrs. Smith, they pick two people who people think of. It was a Brad Pitt. They think they're like, okay, this guy is eye candy, I guess. And same thing with Angelina Jolie, eye candy. They both have done plenty of action type movies, and they did that one very well, where they didn't like overly sex it. You know what I mean?
Who'd be good? Zoe Saldana, who played what's her name? Gamora.
Gamora.
I think she would be good.
Zoe Saldana. And what's his name? Killmonger.
Oh shit. That would be too intense. I don't know if I could handle that.
But that's the thing.
That's what you want though. Like,
yeah, but with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, like, when you heard them, it's just like, dude, how? It's like it's too much. Like, and they were both at their peaks during that time. So I kind of like, I don't know. I do like him. I do like Donald Glover, but I don't see him. I don't know. I don't see him. I have mixed feelings on this. I'll watch it, but I have mixed feelings on it.
What's his name again? Is that Michael? What is his name? The guy who played Killmonger. Why am I drawing a blank? Do you know his name? Is it Michael B. Jordan?
Michael B. Jordan. Yeah, there you go.
Michael B. Jordan. Yeah. He did an amazing job as Killmonger. So yeah, that would actually that would be a banging show if they could get him and Zoe Saldana, whatever her name is.
Saldana, yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be a banging show. So anyways, moving on. We got The Rig also to be announced, additional to blah, blah, blah. Plot details are a bit sparse. Group of men on an oil ring in the North Sea. A dangerous fog that cuts off communications and forces them to deal with the forces. So this, like a natural weather disaster kind of movie. So if you like that kind of stuff, then you might like this one. Terminal List is another one. Actually, this is starring Chris Pratt. So we're just talking about Guardians of the Galaxy. So Chris Pratt is here, and it's on Amazon Prime. Let's see. He does a very good job in general in his movies, I think. I'm a huge fan of Guardians of the Galaxy. I know that you don't really like Guardians of the Galaxy that much, but I enjoyed it.
I do. I like Guardians.
Did you?
I'm not a fan of their comic books. I've never been a fan of them, but I like their movies.
Okay, all right. So it's a thriller that focuses on his character's struggles to make sense of his past while fighting against those who want to destroy him. That sounds like the plot to every friggin' movie out there.
Yeah.
So my recommendations off this list is literally just going to be Upload, The Boys. Um, Man, if I had to pick three from that list, then it would be probably Upload, Boys, and Lord of the Rings. But I'm saying that there are some good content that is still coming out on Amazon Prime. So don't forget about them when you're binge watching Disney Plus, Apple TV, and trying to forget about the price hikes with Netflix. A lot of us are already paying for Amazon Prime, so use it. Actually use that application. It's there. It's free. Well, not free, but included with the shit that you pay.
Yeah.
My last streaming news is kind of a sad point for some of us in the Android community. But I don't know if you use this app or not. Have you heard of YouTube Vanced?
You know what? I have, and I keep hearing about this. What's going on with? Okay, for one, explain exactly what YouTube Vanced is and what's going on.
So YouTube Vanced is like I think it was an open source project that people basically gave you YouTube Premium for free. It was ad free, so you got to access YouTube ad free. You got features like background play. You got features like picture in picture. You got a bunch of features that you don't get with the standard YouTube app. And there was even features like auto skip intros, auto skip sponsor messages. So like, when people start up like, oh, subscribe to my channel, do this, do that, do this, whatever. Today's episode sponsored by. There was a feature inside there that auto skipped that stuff. Crazy. I don't know how they programmed that, but it was there. And obviously, if you have an application that is bypassing advertisements, companies aren't making the money and not being paid by their advertisers, so they're going to be upset. This wasn't an official app from YouTube, and YouTube got upset. But YouTube Vanced has been around for a very, very long time. So the article says that the software has come to an end of the road. The developer team says that Vanced is being discontinued due to legal reasons and suggests that they were forced to comply. There are millions of websites available today, most of which remain completely unknown to the majority of internet users. And I think this is a big there are some people out there, I'm not gonna say it's me, but there are some people out there who solely choose to use an Android device over an iPhone because of apps like this. You can't get this on an iPhone, unfortunately. But so, and a lot of people don't even know that apps like this exist because you walk around with a megaphone talking about things that you shouldn't be talking about, and shit gets shut down, and you wonder why. Most people agree that YouTube is a fantastic platform, and over the years, the ad-supported free tier has become very frustrating. It has ads, lots of ads, and it keeps getting more and more. I feel like it's worse and worse these days. And I think, they're just trying to force people to buy their premium subscription. They want you to buy their plan. YouTube Vanced, or just Vanced for those who just like the trademark issues, is the work of Team Vanced at XDA developers. It is a complete replacement for the official YouTube app and comes with some pretty nifty features, not just blocking the YouTube ads. It also allows background play, which you don't get with the free tier of YouTube, along with sponsor block, a dark theme, and picture-in-picture playback. As a result, which is available for non-rooted and rooted devices, has a massive enthusiastic following, and it does. Team Vanced insists that its software isn't a replacement for YouTube Premium, but for many users, the experience is close enough. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
So, a lot of companies are cracking down on this stuff. This reminds me of an episode that, what the hell is his name? Why am I drawing a blank right now? Linus had a podcast recently, and he actually banned everybody that works in his company from using an ad blocker. And he actually made a statement that I want to know how you feel about it, but he says an ad blocker, or blocking ads, is the same as piracy?
Blocking ads, actually, if the way I see it, you want to hear my thoughts on this?
Go for it.
So when you I don't know if I want to call it piracy. I would call it your okay. So if somebody messes with somebody's app, and are we talking about third party app or first party apps?
Let's keep it legit.
Okay. So if it's YouTube or if it's Hulu or Disney or whatever, if you mess with their apps, then you're messing with a lot of legalities. Like there's copywritten stuff, there is legal stuff, there's red tape, there's lines in the sand. It's very, imagine going to somebody coming into your house and saying like, hey, I'm gonna rearrange your door lock. You know what I mean? I'm gonna change this so that way any key could fit in here. It's just like, what? Like, no. I think once you start messing with that, I don't know if I would call it piracy per se, because you're not really, anytime I hear the word piracy, I think like you're trying to rip something and upload it back up for people to watch. But if you are manipulating something, then I don't think that's piracy anymore. I think now you're messing with the integrity of that lock and key, which is now it's another avenue of a legal thing, bypassing digital, whatever, however you want to name it. It's not a gray area when you do that anymore. That could be some serious stuff when you do that now.
Did I freeze? Am I back?
A little bit for a second. Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, weird. I don't know what happened there. But okay, so for the most part, I kind of agree. So some might say that it's giving a true representation of how the advertisers pay for a service, right? Because the advertisers pay per view of the ads. So if you block those ads, then the advertiser who's paying to advertise on that platform isn't spending money on somebody who's not watching that ad. So for that aspect, I'm like, okay, well that's kind of good, because that's good for the advertiser, because you weren't going to watch that ad anyways. Realistically, you weren't going to watch that ad anyways, right?
Right.
But for the other side, if you're thinking about it strictly from a business perspective, that platform exists because of its subsidiations or subsidiaries, whatever. I make up words. That's what I do. And if you continue to abuse good things, then, things can happen where either features change or platforms go down or change or whatever. Now, realistically, the platforms we're talking about are multi-billion-dollar, multi-trillion-dollar platforms, whatever you want to call it. So, skipping a few ads here and there is whatever. It is what it is. But yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that word as piracy. I feel like it's too strong of a word. Like it reminds me of those advertisements saying you wouldn't download a pizza.
It's like, what?
Hell yeah, I would download a pizza.
Hell yeah.
Delicio that shit.
Give me my pizza.
So the last thing that I'm finishing with, this has actually been a lot longer of an episode than I thought it was going to be, is your top 10 movies of the week. Any guess as to what is number one? Because I think this one should be very, very obvious.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man by a long shot. It recently came out on digital release. So it is number one. Everyone's watching Spider-Man. This was the most common question that we've been asked for months. When's Spider-Man coming out? I want to stream it. When's Spider-Man coming out? I want to stream it. Google that shit. And they pushed it back, and they, what it is, what it is. But Spider-Man's number one. Number two. You should actually be able to guess what number two is.
The Batman?
I'll give you a hint. No, I'll give you a hint. Remember, I'm going with movies you can watch at home. They're not in theater.
Okay.
Actually, some of them are. Actually, whatever. Anyways, we talked about this movie.
Adam Project.
Yep, that's number 2.
Mom.
Next is one called Blacklight. I don't know what that one's about. After that is The King's Man.
I want to see that one.
Number 5 is Turning Red. Number 6, I haven't watched, but I haven't heard good things about it. And I think that it's just number 6 because of the franchise. The Matrix Resurrections. Have you watched it?
Yeah.
What would you say about it? Would you recommend somebody to watch it?
I would recommend somebody to watch the other 3 before they watch this one.
Well, it's not a standalone. You can't do that as a standalone.
You can't do it as a standalone. There's a lot of backstory on it, and I think honestly, like what I think about this thing is it's pretty nice how they threw them back. Have you seen it?
No.
Okay, I don't want to say too much then. It's pretty nice how they connected them. They connected the movies and how they're it's not like, because I thought it was gonna be like a reboot, like, oh, here we go, they're gonna reboot the damn thing. I was kind of bummed out about a couple things, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, okay, I don't like it, but it makes sense why they're doing it. I think it makes a lot of sense what they're doing and how they're doing it. And I think once you see it, you're going to be like, you're probably going to have the same feelings that I have. I'm like, but why didn't they? And then once you start thinking about it, you're going to be like, okay, I guess that makes sense why they didn't or why they did.
Okay. You know? The next one I think is a horror movie. I'm not sure. It's called Fresh. Number 8 is Scream. Now, Scream confuses me just by the name. Like, don't you already have a movie called Scream? Is this Scream 5? Like, how do we have 2 movies with the same name?
I think they're not rebooting it. I think it's Scream. Well, actually, I don't know. I thought I heard they're going to reboot this thing, but they're going to just continue it with the legacy. It's just another Scream movie, but they're not going Scream 5 or 6 or 7. They're not continuing. I think it's a brand new.
25 years after the original Scream. And it's got the same chick in it.
Oh, yeah. They got to call it Scream 5 or 6.
Right? This is what I'm saying. You're just confusing me at this point.
Yeah.
Number 9 is The Batman.
Batman.
And number 10, you might actually enjoy if you haven't seen it yet. It is Dog with Tatum Tot?
Channing Tatum?
Yeah.
Tatum's a basketball player.
So I've watched this. Have you heard of it?
No. Actually, yes, I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
So he's a former Army Ranger, and he has to transport an army dog from one of his friends who passed away in duty. And he's trying to get the army dog to the funeral service, and he has to drive the dog. So it's kind of like, I guess, his bonding experience with a dog with PTSD, and he also has PTSD. So it's an interesting movie. A lot of people said it was good, so it might be a movie that you would enjoy.
Yeah, I think I'll check it out.
That's the top 10 of the week. That's really just all I had to wrap this up. That's an hour and a half show. We might even be able to chop this into 2 if we wanted to.
If we wanted to. Yeah, part 1, part 2. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Yeah, it's you know what? There is a TV show that we forgot to mention.
Uh-huh.
I don't think we did mention it, but and it's doing really, really well right now.
Okay.
It's the reboot of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Really? Is it really doing well? Well, he's the director, so it better be up to his standard for real.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I keep hearing a lot of good things about it, saying like to check it out. You know what I mean?
Huh.
So I haven't started it yet. I have so many things. There's one show that you wanted me to watch, but I haven't seen it yet either.
Which one? There's so many.
There's a TV show that you're like, you haven't seen this one yet? I'm like, no, dude.
See? Have you seen See?
That one. I haven't seen it yet.
I like that show. That show was good.
It's on my, that's Apple.
I think so.
And it's only season 1.
No, season 2's out.
Fully?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll watch it. I'll watch it once I'm done with Narcos.
Have you watched Invincible? It's a cartoon show, and I know you don't like cartoon shows, but I'm telling you, it's good.
I haven't.
Telling you it's good, bro. Telling you.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet.
And there's another one. There's another Apple show that season 2 should be coming out soon called Defending Jacob. I really like that one, so I'm hoping that season 2 comes out soon because the season 1 was pretty good. Yeah, that's all I really got.
Yeah. There's so much crap that's happening out there right now. So a lot of stuff. Let us know what you guys are watching right now. That's actually pretty good. There's a lot of things, and it's kind of, it's like there's just an endless amount of stuff. There's always like no time to catch up. I went through my list of shows, and I'm just like, cool, let me start. It's sad because I was starting to delete some of the old stuff that I was watching that is not renewed anymore. And at the same time, I'm just like, good riddance, gone, done. I'm done with this one anyway. So yeah, hope you guys appreciated the video. We try to get you guys the latest and greatest stuff of what's happening. Yeah, anything you got to say before we get the hell out of here?
You know what I say? Thank you guys for checking out another episode of Beyond Streams. Make sure that wherever you're listening to us, you also leave us a comment or a review so other people like yourself can find the content that you enjoy. Make sure that you also come out every Thursday around 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to our live show on YouTube, channels Beyond the Streams. We also have another channel called BS Clips where you can find little bite-sized pieces of the content that you enjoy. We sometimes, usually, a lot of times, have other content creators or other interviews with people from companies that you're either using their products and services or you probably should be. So make sure you have that notification bell turned on, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.